coming at you with another lesson straight out of the Lions Den Camp of Yashala. But before I get started with this lesson, I would like to give all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son in their proper true names. And we're going to start off by saying Kyle, Halayim, La, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Ha, Rakah, Kodash, Ma'amah. Definitely want to give double honors to the apostles of GMS and their elders. Definitely want to give double honors to my elder, Ahawam, Banyasa Allah of the Lions Den Camp, located right here in Jacksonville, Florida. Shalom to the sincere men, women, and children that believe in sincerity and truth and that believe on the names of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. All right, shalom to the Lions Den Camp and the rest of the elect that's out there. Shalom. All right, today's lesson is going to be based off of, believing in the Lord's prophecies, man. For one. All right, I don't particularly have a title just yet, but it's going to be a quick lesson, Yahweh Ratazah. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 3, and this is what led me to my lesson today, or actually the article, all right, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai led me to do this lesson, all right, that I'm gonna read in a second. All right, this is Ecclesiastes 3, and I'm going to start for 16, but the point is in 17, and it reads, and moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, right? See, right here, right, on earth, right, the place of judgment under the sun, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. I said in my heart, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, shall judge the righteous and the wicked. See, right here on earth, right? For there is a time there for every purpose and for every work, right? So the Lord has set up His prophecies, man. And everything is set for its appointed time. Let's jump up to Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build, right? And this is a time to break down, man, right? The times we're in right now, all right? Well, as far as the Lord tearing down Esau's kingdom and bringing forth His prophecies, man. As we watch Iran and Israel go, shoot missiles at each other, attacking each other. All right, this is all part of the prophecies and leading up to the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. All right, for those who feel like, America can't be touched, and once we get the Golden Dome, we can't be touched. Look at Israel. Just last year they was bragging about their dome, right? But as you see, a bigger military is attacking them now, right? And one thing about it, two things for sure. When people sit there and say out their mouth that America will never be destroyed, or they'll even say that Israel will never be taken away because they're the true people, you know nothing can stop the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Everything has an appointed time. All right. And right now, the appointed time is the downfall of Esau's kingdom, and that's the West, right, dealing with America and the state of Israel. All right. So they can sit there and feel like, Israel's protected and the state that America will never be touched. That's the mindset of the people that that live in America, man, and across the countries, man, in other countries. They feel like the Lord prophecies won't come to pass, man. This is Ecclesiastes 3:11. He have made everything beautiful in His time, and also, right? Also, He have set the world in their heart, right? So that's the mindset of these people, man. Want to continue living in Esau's kingdom, and basically denounce. Well, I ain't even gonna say denounce, but not believing into the prophecies that Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has put forth, man. As we go out on the highways and byways to teach our people these prophecies, 2/3 of our people, shoo at us and scoff at us. They don't want to hear what we got to say when we're trying to deliver them the message and the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to turn them back to Him, to worship Him in sincerity and truth. So, like you for the background noise, 1 second. So, at the end of the day, everything has an appointed time. And right now, that appointed time is the downfall, right, of this sinful kingdom, and which also would bring forth all the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, right? All His words will be true. All right. All right, this is the article here. It says, this is from the Mirror, U.S. All right. It says, Israel's Iron Dome overwhelmed as missiles rain down on Tel Aviv. We've arrived. It says Israel's Iron Dome defense system was seen failing on Friday as Iranian missiles rained down on Tel Aviv and other regions, injuring 21, including one seriously. Right, we've arrived. An unofficial update account for Iran's military chilling posted on X on Friday evening. The U.S. was said to have intercepted several of the incoming ballistic missiles. Two, right, a senior official told X's, but still, 7 got through, with at least one striking a building in Tel Aviv, trapping several people inside, a local radio station reported. And it says Iran announced the start of its retaliatory strikes on Israel, with state media RNA, right, IRNA, Salakia. It says stating that the counter attacks had begun. It says all, quote, all of Israel is under fire as Iran fires projectiles, end quote. The Israeli Defense Force IDF confirmed on its official X page, attaching a map with a red border showing the areas in the most danger from the strikes. Quote, the Iranian attack is ongoing. Dozens of additional missiles were launched towards Israel, end quote. It says the IDF wrote in another post minutes later. About 20 minutes after that, the IDF claimed that Iran is targeting Israeli civilians with the strikes, as it shared another map showing their location with littered with marks. All right. It says Israel's civilians are currently being targeted by the Iranian regime. The world cannot stay silent, it says the IDF wrote. The strikes come hours after Israelis were told to stay in protected spaces amid fears of retaliation. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said earlier in the day that Israelis need to assume there will be a counterattack, end quote, as he and other Israeli authorities reportedly discussed, all right, quote, the price they would have to pay, end quote, for the initial strikes. It says regarding the price, I said there will be a price, and we are trying to reduce it in various ways I will not elaborate on, Netanyahu said in a pre-recorded video on Friday discussing the attack, according to CNN. I said, but it is important for me that you as citizens will help reduce it by not being euphoric. All right, so like it says, and simply obey. All right, let's get that. Come on, slow poke. It's like my phone move a little slow, y'all. So it's like euphoric. All right, means characterized by or feeling intense excitement and happiness. All right. It says, and simply obey the instructions of the home front command and stay next to safe spaces, because we and you want to minimize harm to life as much as possible, end quote. He added, warning the citizens of Israel of the impending danger. The strikes were said to have struck Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Israel's Iron Dome defense system was activated, and it was reported that several of the missiles were intercepted. It says, nevertheless, targets were reportedly hit, as video and pictures show smoke rising up from among the skyscrapers in Tel Aviv. All right. Eli Ben, the head of Magen David Adom, right, Israel's emergency service, says 7 individuals were lightly and moderately injured following the strike. CNN reported all of the injured parties were hit in Tel Aviv and the nearby city of Ramat Gan. A statement from the IRNA said Iran fired hundreds of various ballistic missiles toward Israel in in what was described as a crushing response to Israeli and attacks on Friday morning. Moments ago, with the launch of hundreds of various ballistic missiles toward the occupied territories, the occupations of deceived response decisive Salaki response to the savage attack of the Zionist regime has begun. Iran's official news agency RNA reported according to CNN. Iran said it targeted primarily, quote, military centers and air bases, end quote, in Israel. Israel launched retaliatory strikes in return. It was reported, though, the missiles were said to have been intercepted over the Iranian city of Tabriz. Right. All right, but yeah, so I'm not gonna finish the rest of it. It just goes into like what some of the states that the people are in, like people being trapped under buildings, um, so on and so on. But the point of this video, right, just to show that you know people can act like um places like America and the state of Israel can't be touched, right? Clearly, as we were just reading, that 7 of those missiles, even though a lot of Iran's missiles got intercepted, they still was able to touch the state of Israel, right? And with that, they still have a lot of major backing, which is Russia, China, and China and Russia have put out reports saying, basically it's gonna be some problems if this keeps going on because they're backing Iran, so they're gonna back Iran. And America, right, has been reportedly saying that they, for one, we're not shooting these missiles at you, Iran. Um, but they basically are falling back from protecting the state of Israel. So at the end of the day, that's going to leave the state of Israel wide open for the BRICS nations to, you know, to retaliate. If Russia step in, you best believe it's going to be a lot more than 7 missiles that actually hits uh, the state of Israel. All right, but that's the point of this lesson, man. For everybody who doubts that America golden, even if, the Golden Dome is not up yet, but it's in talks. So even if America does get this Golden Dome, doesn't mean anything, right? It just shows you that America still can be touched, just like the state of Israel could still be touched with their Iron Dome. All right, everything has set for a point of time, man. And one thing about the Lord's vision is I'm not vision, but his prophecies, they will come to pass, man. All right, this is second Esdras 16 and 13, just getting right to the point. All right. It reads, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. All right. So at the end of the day, when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world, when World War III, Armageddon, nuclear destruction is at its peak. When at that point when the Lord is showing up, nobody can stop it, man. All right, nobody can stop America being turned into a lake of fire. All right, this place is destined and prophesied to get hit with 200 million warheads, man. All right, so just like Paul was speaking on, this Romans 3 and and 3, and it reads, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua without effect? Yahweh forbid. Yea, let Yahweh be true, but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Man. All right, so this is why we speak the prophecies of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, because we know these are true, right? And not to speak off our own words, right? So even if they don't believe, even if they believe or don't believe, right? At the end of the day, his prophecies is going to be true, and they will speak, right? So rather they believe or not, right? If they don't believe, that's on them. At the end of the day, they're gonna have to be right here under the sun, getting and to receive that judgment, which will be those nuclear missiles, man. All right. Got a couple more precepts real quick. Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. See, and so at the end of the day, if people don't believe that this America will be turned into a lake of fire, or the state of Israel, it's not going to fall, as well as America not going to fall. All right, they don't believe in World War III or nuclear destruction, and the prophecies of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, believing into Armageddon or Armageddon in Hebrew, right? And even if they don't believe, at the end of the day, they, they still can't stop the prophecies. They still can't stop what's prophesied to happen to these places. No matter if they got an iron dome, a golden dome. No matter if they military seems like it can't be defeated. No matter how much help they have. At the end of the day, the prophecies will speak, man. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So at the end of the day, these prophecies will come to pass, man. The state of Israel will be destroyed. All right, that's the appointed time that we're in. All right, America will be turned into a lake of fire. All right, so at the end of the day, this is just a small example to show you that, hey, even if they do have an iron dome or a golden dome, all right, the prophecy still, at the end of the day, those arrows cannot be turned back. Those plagues and it cannot be turned back. At the end of the day, the Lord has a bullseye set on these places, man. And when it's time, when that day comes, the places will be completely and utterly destroyed. All right. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Salakia for the interruptions. All right. Shalom to the elect, the Lions Den Camp, and the rest of the elect that's out there. Hapatah, Shalom, DTA.